Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of the Youth There It Is podcast. Youth, there it
There
is.
it is.
Youth, there it is. Youth, there it is. Katey and I are back again for another fabulous episode, but in case you missed us on the first one, just a very brief intro. I am Lisa Borzada, Associate Director of Rules, Scoring, and Education for Waikata, and I am joined by the very lovely, always funky rules aficionado, Katey Choate. Katey, please say hello to the people out there in podcast land.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I am Katey Choate. I am the Senior Rules Director for Waikata. That's me.
Excellent. We had a blast in episode 1. I will tell you that the getting ready portion of the event took longer than the actual recording of the first event, but we've taken the training wheels off. Dad has left us alone. Our producer, Jojo, is gone. So anything could happen at this point. He is trusting us. We promise to do the best job we can, Jojo. And while we're at it, not only do we want to shout out Jojo, we want to shout out Tiffany, who's going to be handling social media for us. She does an amazing job for Waikata and Jams. We cannot wait to see what they're going to come up with. We are having just the best time doing this. And the talent here, we kind of really don't know. We just kind of say, hey, we think this would be a good idea. Look at this trend. We want to try this thing. And they just kind of take the ball and run with it. So major
Yay,
kudos.
Jojo and Tiff.
Round of applause.
Woo!
Round of applause.
We love
Round of
you.
applause. Love
Yep.
you, Jojo and
Mhm.
Tiffany. All right. This week's episode, we are deeming Into the Great Unknown. Into the unknown, right? It's, yes, I don't sing. There's a reason for that. I don't really do karaoke either. When I do karaoke, I rap. I'm a rapper by choice because the voice. Do you karaoke at all, Katey?
No, but I feel like that might be our next get
It might
together.
be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We've roller skated, right?
Yes.
At the Waikata conference mixology
did.
of 2 years ago. We
Yeah.
neoned it up
Heck
this
yeah, we
year.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. And karaoke might be in our future. Again,
Mhm.
I'm a rapper. Bust a Move is usually my go-to, right? I
Okay.
feel like, I mean,
Okay.
I can do
picture it.
more? I can do more.
Okay.
I could do more. Absolute
Okay.
Rapper's Delight. Oh, I could go on for hours.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, we need to go to a karaoke bar.
Yeah, karaoke might be the way to go. Maybe we'll take the production crew with us. Who knows? Maybe it'll show up here on the podcast one of these days.
I'll
Anyway,
probably sing like Spice Girls. That's my jam. So
okay. Yeah, perfect. Sporty Spice. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for it.
Scary Spice. She was my hair
Scary-
inspiration. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
And it works. So, I mean, the curls to die for. Anyway,
You're sweet.
today's episode, Into the Great Unknown, we're kind of going over all of the things about becoming a youth cheer coach, some of the more daunting topics. And while we know that we are kind of putting these out in August when mostly everyone's practices have started, we feel like this is still a useful topic and maybe some tools you can pick up because you're still in your preseason. When I'm at the clinics that we do and a lot of people who got started in, let's say, July, early July or middle July, and, it's the summer season and you never have a full squad because everyone's taking their vacations. And then my joke is you blink and all of a sudden it's October 1st and your first league event or your first fun comp is like a week away. And you're like, how the heck did we get here? And, those are very, very scary times. Would you agree? Very, very scary times.
Very scary times. Yeah, especially if you're going into it for your first year, but even so, it's new every year. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Every season brings something new. And so we figured we'd come on and kind of talk about all of the things that are leading up to the season, preseason stuff, things that we think coaches want to know about that you may not really, understand. Again, when you got voluntold for this job, especially if this is your first year and you're thinking to yourself, what in the world did I get myself into? It's okay. We're going to breathe through it. We're just going to stay calm. And we are here like your two little cheer besties.
Yeah.
We're just going to help you out and we're going to make sure that you get through it relatively pain-free. We can't make full promises, but hopefully a lot of this stuff will be useful to you. Any words of encouragement or warning you want to give before we get started with the people? Anything
Words of encouragement
or
right? Warnings?
Well, yeah, you want to let them know it's going to be okay.
Oh, I was like, is there a storm a brewing?
No, they just all feel better. I've seen in real life that coaches who have come in and are a little frazzled and hectic always feel so much better after chatting with you. So I thought maybe this would be a good time for you to
I
give those little words of encouragement that they hear it from you and know it'll be okay.
think the biggest thing that I would say right now is I'm a firm believer in you. I'm a firm believer in the athlete. I'm anything is possible. And
Right.
don't underestimate yourself. You are here for a reason to coach, whether you were dragged on as a volunteer or you put your name down or not. There's a reason you are there and you just have to find it. There's a reason that your life has put you in these cheer shoes. And accept it.
You probably
And
lost a bet. I bet you probably lost a bet.
but I am a firm believer that the world puts you where you're needed. So where you're at right now is where you're needed. Now let us just help you be the best that you can be for these kids. And we're ready
Yeah.
to help you. Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready to go, right? I
Yeah.
believe that you will coach. I believe that you will coach. It's like we're just very motivational over here. We're going to go through a couple things and I think again you'll find it very useful. So, the biggest thing we want to talk about first is your role as a coach because some of you may think it's just kind of showing up and, counting kids and collecting water bottles and getting everybody a snack and all that stuff. No, 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 no. It is so much more than that. There are quite a few things. A couple of things come to mind, and I'm sure Katey has a bunch too. Motivator is probably one of them, right? In the heat of summer, in the 14th time of do it again, you've got to find a way to be able to motivate these athletes to give it just one more try, right? You've got to be able to motivate these athletes to want to try new things. You want to be able to be the one that's kind of pushing them in a positive way that they are going to be like, yes, I want to do this dance section one more time after the 27th one more time you told me it was going to be. So you've got to find a way to motivate them, let them know they're doing a great job. I think sometimes we get, especially if when you're getting into that competitive space, right? We're looking for that perfection. You're only kind of looking to pick out the flaws. You want to be able to be a positive motivator. And that a lot of times enables you to get more out of the athletes, right? Like a lot of times, even when I don't coach anymore. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But even when I go to kind of help teams from time to time, they don't know me. They're on their best behavior. But even after a while of me one more timing them, I can tell they're kind of running low on juice. And even the little thing of like, hey, ladies, hey, guys, you're doing a phenomenal job. I appreciate you allowing me to come in here and work with your team. And I know it's a bunch of, changes and different ideas, but you're doing wonderful. I need you solid and focused for like 10 more minutes because you're doing so
Hmm.
great. Can you just give me 10 more minutes and then we'll take the water break? We'll have the orange slices or whatever the case may be. So anything you can do to kind of be that motivator, I think is hugely important, right? And also organized, right?
Hmm.
Organized because you have just taken on this thing where you may be responsible for 25 youth athletes. They could be 5, 6, 7, and 8-year olds. I praise you. I bow down to you. I so respect you for doing that, right? The more organized you can be, the more you organize you can be for the day, for the week, for the month, for the season, the better you will be, the more you will be impactful, the more you will see results, right? Look, we all have busy lives, right? You could potentially be a parent as well, a parent to maybe multiple children that have different activities and cheerleading may be just one of them. And so organization is key for you. I don't think flying by the seat of your pants and
No.
let's see what happens, right?
Mm-mm.
Let's see what
Yeah.
happens, which is kind of what we're doing with this podcast. That's the approach we're taking here.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
just the two of us. So, and
Yeah.
we've got great editors here. So, I don't think that is the approach that you want to take when you embark on this journey. So the
No.
more organized you can be, the better. Right. And then for me, the last one is like a facilitator, right? I do a show of hands at my clinics and I ask all the control freaks in the room to raise their hands and pretty much everybody's hand goes up, right? Because you all have taken on this role and in many ways you feel like No one can do it as well as I can. No one can ensure that everything's going to get done. No one can make sure that the routine is the best that it is. No one can make sure that our pasta party, pep rally, first game experience, whatever it is, can be the best. And I'm here to tell you, it's okay to delegate. That's a part of what being a great coach is. Head coach, you have to have the ability to delegate. You have to be able to look at all the tasks at hand and say, I've got these other coaches that are here. You may have youth coaches, get them on their social media, make them be the TikTokers, have them create the fun things for you, have them set what the fun practices are going to be, right? Themed practices, anything but a water bottle, spirit wars, game day jerseys, all of those things. Make them responsible for those things. Have others take on other tasks. You may have somebody who's an accountant, although if they're an accountant, they may not have this kind of time to also be a youth cheer coach, but maybe they're the keeper of the spreadsheets. Maybe they are the one that organize all of the things about uniform handout and paperwork delegation and those types of things. Listen, I know nobody does it better than you. And nobody does it better than you. But sometimes it'll make a difference in your coaching staff if they also feel like they've got some skin in the game, right? Like they're involved as well. You know what I'm saying? Like it just makes for a better relationship. And when you do have these 25 athletes, right? And sometimes, let's be honest, it's like herding cats a little bit, right? It will help that you have also formed a bond with your staff so that everybody kind of knows what their place is. So those are just a couple of the things I had. I know Katey's got some of her own ideas. I'm going to zip it and let her share what she's got.
Okay, well, first of all, I want everybody to know that I am shining like a disco ball under these lights.
Shine
Don't
bright
worry.
like a diamond.
I had no idea that lighting could do this to you. So
We
next
don't quite
time,
have the budget for hair and makeup and glam quite yet. Hoping that's season 2. So
I
you're
don't
what you
own
see
any
is what you
powder, but
get.
yeah, I just want everybody to know I'm going to take care of this. I am shining like a disco ball. But okay,
Okay.
on to coaching. Obviously you need to be a good communicator. And I know that really scares people sometimes, but you do. You have to be a good communicator to your fellow assistant coaches, your fellow coaches. You have to be a good communicator with parents. Yeah, that's a whole episode in itself. We'll help you through that. And you have to be a good communicator with kids. You have to understand the age that you're talking to. Really connect with them. I'm going to kind of take that communication and we're going to go back into organization. Kids thrive when you as a coach communicate with them how the practice is going to be organized. If it's always structured the same way, they'll get the hang of it and understand this is how long I have, this is how long I have for A, B, C, whatever it may be. But when you communicate to a child and tell them these are our goals today, next week, and in the month, and not only team goals, but individual goals, the athlete will thrive for you.
Yes.
They will understand
Communicate
the task at mind.
hallelujah. Communicate hallelujah.
So
Sorry, I'm
communicate
back.
not only what we're doing today, but what my goal is for this stunt group and what my goal is for Susie over here. Let them know the goals. And whether they achieve those goals or not, by the end of the day, by the end of the week, you still need to recognize that they tried. Hopefully they tried, that they worked hard, still recognizing that. Because one of my biggest things as a coach was always when the practice was done, they left no matter how that practice went, wanting to come back and work hard for their team and obviously me as the coach. So all those communication skills, all those organization skills have to be set. When you go to practice, if you are disorganized, and look, it happens to me all the time, even just working here. I walk into it going, oh, okay, what am I going to do first? And then it's hard to get started. Guess what your athletes are going to do? They're going to be really hard to get started. So if you're disorganized, they're going to feel it and it's just going to be a disaster. So be organized, communicate well. Skills.
Can I ask you one thing? Because so the one thing you said about organize and like this is how the practices are going to go. Do you find that if you just kind of always keep it the same, do they get tired of it? Like, is it okay to mix it up a little bit? You know what I mean? Like throw a little something, maybe some jazz, throw some jazz hands. I mean, not literally jazz hands, but
it's okay to throw things in, but kids thrive in an organized environment. That's how it is at home. That's how it is at school. That's how it is at practice. So do they like the additional, like, hey, we're going to do this today? Absolutely. But
Yeah,
especially when you're working with these younger ages, they will unconsciously get the hang of it knowing we only have 30 minutes to get this right.
right.
Because then we have to move on.
Yeah,
So they will their bodies and their minds will set for that. It
yes,
takes some time for development and under like just subconsciously knowing I have 15 minutes for jumps. I only have to. I can't lollygallop go around if that was even a word.
right.
During stretching because
Lollygallop
my
is
coach.
now.
Yeah,
Lollygallop is
mhm,
officially a word now. I love it.
we should
Lollygallop.
probably put it in the
Anybody
talk
could
ring.
lollygag. Anyone can lollygag. Lollygallop is a special trait. I love it. I love it.
I'm sure I'm going to do that a lot
I
on
love it.
this. But if you have, they just start to melt into the practice and understand what's expected of them in that time
Yeah.
frame. So
Yep.
it does make, especially, I mean, all the way. I mean, I even did this for college teams, but especially the little ones. The little ones will start to
Oh yeah.
recognize it is break time. I get break time after jump, so I don't ask to go to the bathroom right now. Like,
Oh, that's a
so if
really
you
good
have,
point. That's
yeah,
a really
yes.
good point. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So communication, organization, all those things. Yes, we go into skills. Do you need to know how to teach skills? Absolutely. However, in this industry, in the youth industry, we know that a lot of you get thrown into it. So the main thing to realize is it's okay to go into it not knowing the skill, but it's not okay going into it not educating yourself to know the skill. There are so many resources out there. So say any given day you're like, I'm going to teach a prep lib. Go on YouTube. Go to all the Waikata resources. Go to TikTok. It's everywhere. And those things can be
Everywhere.
really, really quick. 5 minutes of your time to know what you're looking at. Also, it's okay to use those references at practice. So if you're having to watch it, those kids probably would like to watch it too. Maybe someone's a visual learner. Use those references for all the skills that you're building. Don't just think I have to hide this away and act like I know. No, when we join forces in the knowledge, even with social media, we get better with our athletes and with
Yeah.
ourselves. So keep that in mind.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a ton of resources out there. And again, we talked about this in episode 1, right? This market is huge and you have high school and you have all-star and a lot of videos that you see all come from there, but we share a lot of commonality, right? So a lot of those videos can apply and can be utilized with Waikata. Right. The thing you
Absolutely.
want to make
Yeah.
sure you're doing is, of course, you're going to, rules episodes coming down the line, but you want to make sure you're sending it in and make sure that the thing that you're doing is legal for the level you're at in this youth market. But yeah, there's no stigma anymore about going out and getting help, right? There's
No.
no there's no shame in it, if you will, because everybody started from somewhere. We are always looking for resources. We're always looking for those things. And I think you have another couple of points you wanted to talk about,
Mhm.
but I thought that was super important because you can get access to everything now, on the World Wide Web, the WWW, as we like to call it. Right. And so, there's so many places for you to go and find things. So don't be afraid to get out there and find it and then fit it to how your team can utilize it in the best and safe way.
Yeah. My other thing is kind of a tough one for people to realize, but it does have to do with advocating for your athlete. We all know about advocating for athletes, right? But one of the biggest thing I like to remind people is that this isn't for you. This is for the child. Be an
What?
advocate for the child. Yes. So many times I will see coaches out in front, even on game days, cheering in front of them. This is not your spotlight. The moment you turn this around and go,
Sorry, you
this is
guys.
the moment that you turn this around and go, this is for you, and you step into that year going, this is for that child. I've had my glory moment. This is for the children. Then you will succeed more, they will succeed more, and they will rise to the challenge. This is strictly for the kids. This is not a moment for us to take millions of pictures with the trophy on our own. This is their moment. This is their moment, and we are there to help them have that moment. So be a coach, and be an advocate for your athletes. This is their moment.
Yeah. Well said. I mean, listen, we know you put a ton of work in and we know that you share in that glory, right? You share in the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, right? And advocating for them even beyond competition, right? It's advocating, you know, some folks still struggle, right? with the football, folks, and kind of equal time and this and that, right? You got to get, again, somebody on your coaching staff, attend those meetings, advocate for them for equal time in certain things, right? Equal opportunities in terms of fundraising and things like that. Don't be afraid to kind of speak up for them. You are their
Mhm.
voice in the grown up world, right?
Yep.
And that's hugely important. And I think it's so important. And I understand it. You all as youth coaches get so locked in. It's amazing. It's amazing your dedication, right? It is amazing to see all of you and all the hours that you spend and all the time you volunteer. But we do have to remember that this is really about their experience and
Yep.
how you are enhancing their experience. We'll talk a little bit about the
Bingo.
win.
Yes.
Yes, right? So it's you are doing this with your whole heart in order to have them have the best experience. As a mother of grown adults, 27 and 30 years old. I know you're saying to yourself, how is it possible you have a 30-year-old? I don't know. I wasn't a child bride either, but what can I say? Good
Ah,
genes, AI, and good filters on the video. Um, as a mother of adult children, I can tell you it goes by like this,
yeah.
right? So this time, first of all, it's wonderful that you're getting to spend this time. I was very involved too, as I know Katey is with her boys and the activities that they do. It goes by like this. The memories that they will carry forever. It's the things that my children and I still talk about on the youth side. Youth football, my son played, and the snack shack, and this. And remember in the car, all of those things. Like you're making those memories as well. Don't forget that, right? Don't forget each movement you make, the way you coach and all of those things as you're advocating for them. You have to be an advocate for them, and you have to also, remember how you are acting with them to really create those memories and make it a positive experience, which rolls me into the impact of cheerleading or youth sports as a whole, but cheerleading in particular on youth athletes. So I'm going to
Mm,
let Katey start this one
okay.
because I think we both kind of have some really, we kind of have kind of talked through. And again, I'll probably chime in, and Katey, you always feel free to jump in. I'm a caqueron, so it's hard to get the mic away from me. Which is why I don't know why they gave me my own, but it's here. Some of the impact that youth sports has on these athletes and how it's important, for their total upbringing, their total
Yeah.
well-being.
All right. So, I mean, number one is teamwork, I would say. They're learning how to
Yeah.
work with peers. They're learning how to work with individuals that they might not go to school with, that might not even actually be in their own necessarily community. It's a stranger at times and it fluctuates every single year. So, it's going to set them up for the workforce. And when they get older, but the youth cheer
They will get
community,
jobs and leave. I just want you to know that. My 2 children are out of the house and have jobs. It does happen. So don't stress if, don't worry about it. It happens.
it's actually I'm gonna be that mom. It's my worst
Yeah.
fear. It's my when my kids leave, it's gonna be my worst fear. I can't even talk
Oh,
about it.
they come back. They come back. They do.
Okay.
But then they go away again. And then they come back. They go away again. They come back. It's all good. All good.
It's my worst fear. I'm
You're
I'm
going to be
dreading
okay.
it. I'm absolutely dreading it. But teamwork, teamwork, they learn responsibilities, they learn how to communicate, they learn how to structure themselves in a public environment. But not only that, when they're performing, that's going to be a great lesson for them to step in front of potentially a classroom and give a speech. There's so much to not just youth cheerleading, but to sports in general that really amplifies a child's life that will reflect into their future adulthood. Yeah, I mean, I off the bat I'm thinking teamwork. Yeah. Yeah. What
Love
are
it.
you thinking?
So for me, it's like it's kind of the whole in combination, right? Physical, social, and
Yeah.
emotional development, right? And I don't want to step on any of the ideas that you may have, but the physical part, right? The actual, gone are the days where it was just, cheerleaders on the sidelines with the big pom poms, and we probably got some old photos of ourselves with in like mine, right? Where they're just like this, like adornment on the side, right? If you look at the youth cheer and even cheerleading as a sport, the physical component the bar has really been raised, right?
Yes.
If you are really wanting to get into this competitive space, and you may not, I say this all the time. Everybody's definition of success is different. Success
Mhm.
for many of you out there might just be coming up with a really fun, great halftime routine for them to perform at the football games. Phenomenal. You get
Yeah.
everybody there, right? And that is success for your season, right? I
Yep.
joked around about it earlier. One of the successes might be getting everybody at practice before August 15th. That could be and also a goal,
Absolutely.
right? That is success, right? A lot of you are going to be like, we want to take it all the way. We want to go to our national championship. We want the big trophy. We want the large banner. We want the big medals. We're going to move on to other national events. So success comes in many different forms, but regardless, the physical component of getting physically prepared to take on the season, if you are in it for the long haul and you're like, we're going all the way, we're going into December and beyond that, after the holidays, we're going on. They need to have physical toughness. They need to have
Mhm.
conditioning. They need to be able to, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It is a lot. If you're putting together a routine that requires all of the elements that it does to score well, they need those physical attributes, right? There is social development. You
Yeah.
have a team of 25, and I would say for the most part, 23 of them want to be flyers. 23 of them
Woo!
think that is right. Yeah.
Put me
Like
up.
that's the goal.
Put me
I want to
up.
be in the air. Put me up in the air,
Put
right?
me up.
And right, they have to understand that not everybody can be a flyer. They have to understand that every role on the team is important, right? The bases
Right.
roles are important. The back spotters roles are important. Maybe it's a front spot. Maybe it's a person holding a flag because you're using props. Maybe it's those that are down on the ground creating a visual effect for the idea that you have in this
Mhm.
section of the routine, right? Every role is important. The flyer is everyone can't be a flyer. I used to get emails. This is one of the reasons why I stopped coaching, by the way. But I used to get emails or questions like, why is my child always in the back? Why is so and so's child always in the? And I wasn't coaching my child. My daughter, we made a decision long ago that the path of real competitive cheerleading probably wouldn't have been a great for our relationship, right? Therapy might have started at a much earlier age had that happened because I know that I could probably be a little intense is one of the ways to put it, right? And so it was not my child's, right? But there were certain athletes that based on their roles and based on their ability were maybe in the front more than the other. And I had to tell them, I'm not coaching the Rockettes, right? We can't have everybody in a straight line. I can't guarantee that everybody gets front time, right? Equal front time in the routine because different roles require different things and transitions and formations, right? So this allows them to learn that that is not always going to be the case. They're going to have to accept that in certain situations, their role might be different. So and that comes on the emotional side, right? It's dealing with that. Like, listen, you're an amazing part of this team. You are an asset to this team that we are creating here. But in this particular section, in this particular year, in this particular routine, I need you here. And this is very important. Every single person is important and they need to understand that, right? So that this way they can develop because, and I don't want to get too heavy and put the weight of responsibility on how you're going to impact their life in the future. But they have to understand as they get older that there may come times where they are not the premier. They are not at the front of the line. They are not at the front of the class. They are not at the front in their job. And so again, it sounds heavy, but they have to understand that and socially too, how they deal with one another, right? Many of you are probably not counselors. So conflict resolution is not something that's high on top of your list. And you're like, oh my God, I just volunteered to coach cheerleading. What, how do I have all this responsibility? But that social part about being able to, have disagreements, being able to have them talk it out, right? And those types of things, that is important as well. So they don't all have to be besties, right? They don't
Mhm.
all have to be hanging out on the field and off the field and on the mat and off the mat. But when they are all together in this 23 or 25 or 7 or 18 or whatever the makeup is, mutual respect for each other, mutual respect for all of the coaches on the staff, all of those things are really need to be expected, right? That needs to be an expectation that is set. So it's just going to make life so much easier, don't you think? I mean, don't you
Oh,
think it just makes life
yeah.
easier?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a little tip, if I will. Um,
Okay.
I
Tip
because
away, my
I
friend.
I mean, I coached myself, you coached and everything, and you hit on something about, being a counselor, being a counselor. So
Yeah.
I just want to say a lot of the times kids just need to be listened to. And if you kind of prompt them instead by not necessarily giving them advice always, sometimes they need advice, but sometimes if you just prompt them and just say, "So, what do you think the best decision is here? How do we solve this?" They actually know right from wrong. They do, and they can self-help quite well. And then you don't have to put yourself in the middle of the situation as much once they are figuring it out, and they just needed to talk it out. That's all they needed to do. So
They
little
just
tip,
want to be heard.
they just want to be heard. They just sometimes you just sit back and go, "Yeah, I hear you. I hear
Good
you."
point.
And you don't really need to immerse in it. So just try it out. It worked for me numerous times. Even works for my kids. I have twins.
Yeah.
They can get in
Yeah.
battles sometimes.
It's
So yeah, yeah.
right,
Just a little
right.
thought.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
again, it's right. No, it's phenomenal, right? And again, it seems like, "Oh my god, all of this is put on me," but you're gonna find yourself in it regardless, right? You're gonna,
Mhm.
and you'll pick out you'll start to learn the team, you start to learn the personalities of the athletes, and you kinda know, okay, you can't coach everybody exactly the same, right? Some athletes are good with a heavier approach, right? More challenging. Some need a lighter touch and some are, it's like Goldilocks, right? Too hot, too cold, just right. You got to take that Goldilocks approach with them and, understand that some of them may not respond well to a certain type of criticism, volume. I'm sure no one will be surprised by this, but I was the loud coach, LOU. I was loud, loud,
No
LOUD. I was part of the
way.
loud. Shocking. I know. Absolutely shocking. I'm so demure now. Very, very demure. Yes,
Very.
yes, I know. And it was a different time. So there was, but coaching now, you do have to be more mindful of that. And if you try to lump everybody in, I think you're going to find a more level of frustration. I also think now, with the way the parents are so involved, right? You might minimize the parent interaction if you
Hmm.
can really kind of pinpoint, okay, I know how to kind of work everybody in here and get them to the same goal, right? And speaking of goals, you really want to set goals with them as well, whether it be individual goals if they're a little bit older, and maybe you have them at the first practice or somewhere along the line write down what their goal is for the season. You kind of can get an idea of where they are in that competitive space, right? I think a lot of this is about winning and losing, right? Thrill of victory, agony of defeat, gracious in both the victory and the defeat. We get not a ton, but more and more, we get to Waikata a lot of emails about sportsmanship and how coaches and athletes handled themselves
Yeah.
after a competition, in
Yeah,
the
we
middle
do.
of competition. A team that won maybe a little bit too cocky for someone's liking. Maybe a team that lost was really poor sports. And so, if nothing else, I think it is very important that we teach that proper sportsmanship. I would say stay away from the Webinyama sportsmanship. If you know, you know. Nixon 5. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't even know
Um,
what that is.
but so Webinyama, it was a basketball player on the Spurs.
Oh,
He, yeah, Mr. I'm in your head. And then they wound up coming back. And then at the end, when they wound up losing the finals, and he just went in and didn't shake hands. And there was a little bit of debate about professional athletes and do they even really need to shake hands? But you're kind of models for children. So maybe it was kind of the thing to do. I digress. Anyway, you
okay.
may disagree. You may be so livid. You may be so livid at the results of a competition. You may be in your brain, I do not understand how we did not win. I don't understand how they beat us. I don't understand how we lost. I don't understand how we scored and the judges and all those things. You may have all of that happening in your body. I need you to squash it as best you can.
Mhm.
You have zero idea of the eyes that are on you when you are being representing as a coach for a program, right?
Yeah.
Those little eyes are on you whether you know it or not. You are making impressions on them on the daily. And you can say, "Hey, listen, I don't agree. I don't agree with the results. I think it should have been flipped. I think we should have placed higher." All those types of things. But you know what? I'm going to take it home. I'm going to read through everything. And tomorrow when we meet at practice, we're going to talk about it, right? To get get in that circle and be like, the judges were trash, the other team cheated, whatever the emotion you might be feeling. Remember, they are like sponges. They are taking that all in. And every time a loss happens, it can't be somebody else's fault. Sometimes it just happens. You were not the best team of that day. And that you need to convey that to them. Listen, I thought you guys did a fantastic job. Apparently, it just was not enough for today. We're going to take the second place. We're going to take the third place. We're going to take the eighth place, and we're going to use that. We're going to come back this week and we're going to work harder, right? Constantly blaming judges and other teams and, all these kind of things. It's not the way for you to be in your heart. And it's not the way for them to learn how things work. I kind of feel really strong. And look, I judge and I am a large part of in charge of the judges. So this is not to deflect from them. It's just like sometimes you don't see the whole picture. Sometimes you only look at the negative things that your opponents do and the positive things that you do. And, so it's always going to be skewed, right? So you just want to make sure that you're teaching everybody, that really good sportsmanship. I said a lot there. I went around in a lot of circles. And you want to tie this section up in a bow or what are you
I do
thinking?
have one small thing, and I feel like I say this a lot. I say this at clinics. I say
Okay.
this at camps, all sorts of things when I'm working with anybody. I say this. A good coach surrounds himself with a good village. And so, whether that's your support system at home, whether that's your support system as assistant coaches and the board, find the people that support you as well as the athletes
Yes.
as well. Because
Yes.
one person doesn't create a champion, a village creates a champion. So find your village and stick with it and build
Love
that
that.
program. Build that program. It takes a village to raise a champion. That's what I always say. Yes. Yes.
That's very prolific. That should maybe be on a shirt or something or a mug or something somewhere.
Trademark it,
I
JoJo.
love it.
Tiffany, JoJo and Tiffany, trademark it.
Marketing team, let's get that trademark. Can we get that trademark quick before somebody steals the idea? Patent, please. Patent department. It's so true though, right? I remember being in a situation where I was coaching at this gym and I had been coaching already. So there was nothing for me to prove. There was nothing. And, we had these younger coaches that were coming up and it was great for me to kind of lend any type of, education and knowledge and allow them to thrive, right? And some people didn't like that. Some people were always trying to keep them down. And I said this to my kids a lot. There's making yourself tall by making others feel small is not the way to do
Mhm.
it, right? You
It's
could be
not.
the head coach and you need to find a way to build up your entire coaching staff
Mhm.
because the win, everybody celebrates the win, right? And everybody, it should make you proud if one of your assistants, let's say they were the dance choreographer for that team and you get excellent phenomenal comments on your score sheet from the overall judge about that dance section. It costs you nothing to give that coach 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 15 seconds of kudos in a crowded room. You're the smart one for encouraging that person, right? To be creative. That person feels like, oh my gosh, the thing that I did made such a huge impact and helped the kids and helped this team. And my head coach is so proud of me. Like, there's so much here in the experience for all of you, not just for the kids, but for the coaching staff, right? For the student demos that are like, you know what? I had so much fun doing this. Now I want to do with others and to give them their pats on the back, their congratulations. Like I said, in a crowded room, let it be known, right? You as the head coach, you're already smart because you've brought all these people together and you've taught them all the things you've taught them and you've delegated to them. So you celebrate those wins together. You village those wins together, right? I don't think you should put that on a mug. That one doesn't sound as great, but you know what I mean. I was kind of riffing off of your great
I
idea
got
that should
you.
be on a mug.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah. I know.
seriously order a mug now.
I like it. Only we're gonna have to go back and replay it because I don't know if we remember exactly. It takes a village to build a champion. I think that was it.
It takes a
We'll work on.
village to raise a champion. It's
There you
like
go.
I've
She
said it since
remembers it.
I
She
said it for
remembers
like
it.
20 years. I swear it's my quote. I can do a dash Katie Cho. I use it all the
Right. It's her
time. I do.
mantra.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's your mantra, if you will. I
Mhm.
love it. I love it.
Back in the day
All right.
when people would reach out to me for choreography or like they would have a win, they would like thank me. Oh, thank you. And I'd say, this isn't mine. This is ours. It takes a
Yes.
village to raise a champion. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I've been using it
Yes.
for a
And
while. Yeah.
All right, fine. I'm sure I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it on a t-shirt anywhere. So I
No.
think we still got some opportunity here. So, you know, don't let it go to waste.
Okay.
You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. Opportunity comes once in a lifetime. The great
I
Eminem
think
said that.
that might already be trademarked, but
That one is, yes, and he said
yeah.
it at Yankee Stadium this past weekend. I wasn't there, but I heard it was fantastic.
Oh,
I know. Again, I'm going off topic. I wanna talk about the kind of coach you are going to be. Maybe not
ooh,
in this moment, maybe not in this season, but maybe in this your lifetime of coaching. You've got to make some decisions on the kind of coach you will be for your athletes. I'm talking to you out there. I know what kind of coach Katie was. She's going to tell you what kind of coach she was, and then I'm going to tell you what kind of coach I was. Again, it's probably not going to surprise you, but go ahead. Go ahead, Katie.
this probably won't surprise you either. I was a very positive coach. Although I was a hard, structured, organized coach. We came in there, we did work, they knew their job, and if they didn't do it, that wasn't going to be a fun practice. Um, but it became responsibility for them, right? I also one of my biggest things with coaching, now that I look back at it and still how I even interact with kids, I believe in kids wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
I think that they are wonderful little beings and that if one individual believes in a child, they can take on the world. So, 50% of my coaching was obviously skills and technique. I was technique driven. If you didn't have something, you were not going in that routine with it. So, it was very well known. But the other 50% for me was that these kids knew that I would walk to the end of the earth for them, an advocate, and that I believed wholeheartedly in them. And still these athletes that I had nearly 10 years ago, I still believe in them and I'm still cheering them on from the sidelines now. You have to develop these relationships that through coach and athlete that are true and real for them to truly prove themselves to not
agreed.
only the judges, but to you. Make them want to work for you. There wasn't a single moment that I didn't believe in these kids. I always believed in them. And I believed in every single child I worked with, whether it was the most talented one or the one that needed the most work. I believed in that kid. That kid was on that team and it was my goal to make her an athlete or him an athlete.
Yeah,
I remember one year I had a hip hop team and there was two boys on it who had never danced before, but their sisters were in the program and they really wanted to try it.
I love
No
it.
dance experience, coming on to a team that had been taking nationals and just walked away from worlds getting second place in hip hop. So yeah, and I was like, let's
That's a
go.
flex. Flex, 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 flex.
No, that was them. They did the performing on the
Yeah, yeah,
floor.
yeah. No,
That was those
it's a
kids.
legit flex. I love it.
And I remember thinking to myself, let's do it. Why not? Let's get these boys on this team. Heck yeah. And there was obviously a learning portion, of time, but
Sure.
again, there wasn't a moment that I put one athlete above another athlete because I knew we had to even this out and everybody had to be just as talented and I believed in them. Believe in your athletes wholeheartedly. Find something positive in each of your kids to cheer on, even if they drive you crazy. I probably drove my coaches crazy all the time, but find the positive in every child, bring that out of them, and make them believe in themselves. I was a structured coach. I was a hard coach. You didn't mess around with me. But when we got the job done, we had fun. That was me.
Sure.
That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was, again, no surprise. I was, very strong, very loud. Um, and again, I'm sure it's definitely a cultural thing, right? New Jersey, everybody, everybody's got a little like tough, rough, forget about, kind of thing. And, my real big, coaching, yes, coached youth, and that wasn't as competitive, right? That was mostly game day kind of stuff. And then my first real foray into competitive coaching was high school, and that was end of the 80s into the 90s and early 2000s, right? So about 15, 16 years. And it was a different time then, right? It was just, everything was different then. Your parent involvement was different. These kids were workers. These kids were, no one's going to beat us. These kids were like, make us do it again. They probably wouldn't admit it, but that was their persona, right? And so it was a very, the guy who I coached with, we were very much tough. We demanded a lot from them, but it was not condescension in the criticism. It was break it down to build it up, right? It was never hitting below the belt on the toughness and that type of thing. We demanded and we expected a lot. And I joke around a lot of times at clinics. I have to do like talk about now and practice and fun and this and that. And I was like, I wasn't the fun coach. I'm going to be very honest. It was all business, right? And but we had a long line of success. We had years and years of success, years and years finishing at the top of the podium locally, nationally, all those types of things. And I believe that it was done correct. And I know that because I now, in this moment in time, I have strong, meaningful
Yeah.
relationships with athletes that I coached back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. We are judge contemporaries. We are social in each other's lives and attending our families' milestones and going out and having good times, right? My first ever team that I started coaching in 1989, there's an athlete on that team. I have watched her grow and
Mm.
get married and have children and all those things. So I feel like if it didn't go the way I think it went, those relationships would not exist, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, there could be part of me that is intimidating them to be friends with me because I still kind of have it like that with them, but I genuinely believe that it is genuine friendship, right? And we have that special bond and a lot of it still comes through cheerleading. That's
Yeah.
the other thing, right? The monumental memories that you make, right? And you have to decide where you're going to lie on that scale of coaching. I think you both heard from both of us. We were strong and we expected a lot, and the results, the proof was in the pudding because we had a lot of success, and that can be achieved. Respect has to be earned.
Mhm.
They have to understand that who you are. They also understand pretty quickly that you do care about them, and
Mhm.
even though you may be hard on them sometimes, that care does come through, right? Even if you were doing it one more time, do it again and do it again and do it again. At the end of the day, they knew that there was mutual love and respect there in a certain degree, right? And we didn't have to calibrate as much, I don't think, right? I think there's more calibration now, especially in youth, when you talk about the athletes and their demeanor, when you talk about parent involvement, it was probably a little different also when you coached, right? My parents were very much hands off. My parents were like, you got this. We're good. We support you. You discipline the way you want to
Yeah.
discipline. You handle things the way you want to handle. You put people in the spot where you think needs to happen. I don't know that that happens like that anymore, right? You probably
No,
had a
I'm gonna
similar.
pop in. Like, they have, like,
Yeah.
team parents now, which are great, but they have
Yes.
team parents, Like, we never had that. We just drop my kid,
Correct.
make them the best that they can, deal. It's on. Let's go. Yeah.
Right.
It is
What time I got
different.
to pick them up? Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways it was easier, right? We didn't, again, I can understand, although I didn't experience it. I think that's when I really got out of coaching. I had my first little dose of a parent, "Hey, can I talk to you about why so and so is here and my daughter is not there?" And I was like, "Whoa, hold up, wait a minute." I that wasn't going to be that was a no-fly zone for me. I was making the
Mhm.
decisions, the coaching staff was making the best decisions for the team, right? And the one I always talk about is the good of the many and not always the good of the few.
Yeah.
So now coaches, you do have it different. You have parents who are very, very, very involved. You have parents who are going to want to have a say in how you do the things you do. You have definitely a bigger magnifying glass on if your child is participating. Where are they throughout the routine? Are they always in the front? Are they always the middle stunt? Are they always the last one to tumble? And it may be warranted. It may be earned because you and your athlete, your family has decided we're going to go all in on this and we're going to take the classes and we're going to do all of that. So that comes with an added weight of questions and that type of thing. And so you have to plan it out. Maybe game day, maybe on the sidelines, maybe we move people around. Maybe, we alternate who the captains are, who's in the front line, who's in the back line. Maybe in the halftime routine, it's not the best that are on display, right? We're giving everybody their opportunity to kind of sit in the sunlight for a minute. But when it gets to the competition part, then it's really about being strategic and putting your literally best foot forward, right?
Mhm.
And also I know it's not difficult. It is a challenge sometimes for parents to be able to kind of step back and take that look at your own athlete, your child, and say, okay, maybe it's not the most beneficial to have them right here. Maybe I do need to kind of make that move and move them someplace else. That's where your coaching staff comes in, right? Where you kind of say, like, I'm going to coach. I'm not going to really coach my kid. I'm the coach, but I'm going to let others coach my kid. I'm going to coach this other coach's kid. And you all need to make those best decisions, what's best for the team, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes that might be moving your own child to the back row or the second row, right? And I know it's not easy, right? But sometimes it has to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that that also goes a long way for the parents to see, okay, it's not just the Susie showcase, you know what I mean? And I think that that happens. And it's also okay to take that really honest, good look at your athlete, your child, and say, I love them so much. They've got really great tumbling skills, but the stunting isn't just quite there yet. So it's okay to make that adjustment. That is not a reflection on you as a parent. That is not a reflection on them as a child or as an athlete. And it also allows them to have something to work for, it's all tricky, navigating this. But if you can just be honest with yourself and with your child, I think that that really will be beneficial and will work out in the long run for everybody. And that goes into, like, again, what kind of coach you're going to be. If you're like, I'm just here to make sure my kid's always in the front, then that is going to impede on the
Mhm.
success of the rest of the team, right? And if the team doesn't succeed, then your child is not going to succeed, right? So it's okay to spread and share the love and spread the wealth a little bit, to give everybody, and again, putting your best foot forward when it comes to those types of decisions. Looking at it, I always talk about, Katey, we talk about this a lot, like having somebody come in at that kind of 3,000-foot view to watch the routine, to say, okay,
Mhm.
maybe Susie doesn't belong in this
Mhm.
spot. Maybe this person over here, maybe we move them up and make the adjustments. And I know it might be a little hard to hear as a parent, but it's okay. Again, no reflection on you. Just because you're coaching, it doesn't mean that your child has to be the supreme star of the whole. It's okay to share the spotlight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a team. It's not an individual. It's a team.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think you
Exactly.
were coached by your mom at one point too. I was coached, well, I mentioned that in one of the
I live to
podcasts.
tell
The
about it.
previous
Yeah.
yeah. That could be its own podcast, coached by your mom. I love my
Yeah.
mom. But
Love you, mom.
yeah, it's a team. It's a team. It's not an individual. And I actually appreciated that about my mom, is that she shared the wealth. She absolutely
Yes.
did. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important to talk to your child too outside of practice and say, hey, listen, like, I'm absolutely 1000% your mom. And I am a lot of your mom when we're at practice, but I also have to be the coach. So if you don't agree with something, if you're upset about something, the mother and daughter dynamic, or the mother son dynamic, or the father daughter dynamic. There may be some dads out. I know there are dads out here that are also involved in coaching cheer. So whatever
Aunts and
the
cousins
dynamic
and
is,
sisters. Yeah, you're all,
everybody,
you know,
everybody to
yeah.
the barbecue of cheer. Yeah. Right.
Mother-in-laws,
Um,
grandmas, stepmoms, we see you. We see you,
Yes, yes, we do. And we know that it can be hard to navigate when it's your own relation,
baby.
right? Yeah. You've gotta really to have some conversations to say, look, you can't come at me like you might at home. We're gonna have to table it. If you're talking that way, I'm gonna refer you to Coach Katey. Katie's gonna be the one that's gonna be handling you. If you're acting out at practice, I have to take it at face value and treat it like I would as any other child that is acting out at practice, right?
Yeah,
Which, I'm just going to sidebar 1 second. When you set up your policies, when you talk about some level of expectation and what the repercussions might be on a child who isn't listening or isn't paying attention or is being disruptive or anything, please make sure that you first consult with your board or your league or whoever the higher ups are to understand what you can and cannot do in terms of punishment or, those types of things. I hate to say punishment, but what the repercussions might be if you don't follow the rules. You need to understand what you can and cannot do. And also you need to really put into place things that you are guaranteed you can enforce. Don't put
Yeah,
things into place that you won't or can't enforce because
that's a big one.
right? This is the last time. I'm telling you one more time. This is the third last time. This is the 29th last time I'm going to tell you. After a while, they're smart. They know there is no repercussion for what they're going to do. There is no consequence to their action, right? But if you are very clear about what will or won't happen, right? Then the likelihood of them listening, the ability for you to carry out that consequence becomes very important. And a lot of times that one consequence will set the tone for everybody else. If they see Lisa is not getting away with that, and therefore Lisa's going to have to sit out of miss whatever the case will not be captain at the next game, it may sway them not to then repeat that behavior because they
Mhm.
know a consequence is coming, you know?
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
don't know any. Yeah,
I agree.
I
I
do
agree.
think that.
And
Yeah,
make it even across the board. Like if you have sympathy for someone and they missed a practice because of this particular reason and you're like, "Oh, well guess what? It's got to be the same across the board because if you break that policy, if you break that contract, ooh, you're never going to hear the end of it." Mm-mm.
right,
And people will
right,
use and abuse it. Yeah. So stick with
for
your
sure,
policies no matter what. No matter what.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
And a lot of that comes to like, we're going to talk about like the preseason and like if you have your parent meeting, which I think parent meetings are hugely important, right? You kind of lay out everything for them. You kind of talk about the season and the expectations and you kind of go through these things. But at the same time, you also want them to know that you are able to be communicated with, right? We know a lot more now than we did back then about child and behavior and emotional well-being and a lot of things that children go through that we kind of didn't. I don't know whether it didn't happen or we didn't realize it or it was just like just was never recognized, right? It's okay for a parent to come to you before practice or shoot a text and say rough day, just letting you know Lisa may be a little bit, and that's a good prompt for a coach and a staff to say, hey, listen, let's just keep an extra eye, you know
Mhm.
tough day. Don't have to go into the details. You know what I mean?
Right.
Doesn't have to go details, but just have an understanding of, okay, maybe we let the rope out a little bit on the behavior or, be a little bit more mindful of how we're interacting with that athlete because there may be, some issue that went on that we don't even know about.
Mhm.
We talk all the time about, on the outside, everything's great and wonderful, but on the inside, there could be a lot of stuff going on that we have no idea. And again, I know this becomes a lot of responsibility for you, but I don't think you took this on with knowing that there wasn't going to be a lot of twists and turns and a lot of things to navigate here. And so these are just some things that we want you to kind of get an idea about in navigating all of those things. Um,
Find
you
what
want to
kind of
talk
coach
about?
you are.
Yeah, go ahead.
Find that. Discover that quickly. Discover
Yeah.
that quickly. What coach you're
Yes.
gonna be, and stay true to that. Stay true to yourself, and navigate all those paths that she's talking about with your head on your shoulder of who you are and the coach you wanna be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hugely important. And I think that if you can, who you are, and Coach B and Coach C and Coach D and Coach E, and they all know who they're going to be, you all shouldn't be carbon copies of one another. Everyone's going
Mhm.
to have their specialty, right? You may be the creative, right? Katey is going to be the formation guru, right? Susie is going to be the stunt aficionado, right? David is going to be the routine creation king, and all together, right? I'm going to be the hammer. I'm going to be we talk about good coach, bad coach, right? I'm going to be a little bit of the hammer. Katie's going to be the good coach, right? We're going to all assume our roles because you have all those different personalities. You have 20, 25 different personalities and all of you are going to be quick to want to be responding, right? You are in this and you're active, right? You're not we're going to sit down at practice coaches. We're just going to be on our phones and right. You're in it now, baby. When you're in, you're up, you're active. The more you stay up and in tight and you're talking, you're walking around, you're talking to a stunt group or you're talking to this section and they're about to do their jumps and you're right there. I don't want to say in your face, like in an aggressive way, in a negative way, but when you're up and in there, they're feeling your energy too. They're feeling like coach is in this, right? Rather than just sitting back, do it again, right? With no
Yeah,
real
get up.
instruction
You
on
gotta get up. You can't be
gotta get up.
sitting. Coaches have to be involved. feel what they're feeling. I mean, even like Lisa said, walk around. Their body lines and jumps are going to be seen from the side and the back, not the front. So go
Correct.
walk around. If a kid is not landing with their feet together, if their chest looks weird, walk to the side. Their body line is going to tell them a lot. So get up out of the front, walk all around, be everywhere all at once. It's going to show you a lot more than what standing in the front will show you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. By now, you've probably had your preseason meeting. So a lot of this stuff, again, may not be that useful to you, but I didn't want to end without mentioning, right, the parent meeting and all the preseason planning. Again, put yourself in the shoes of all these parents. Many of them probably have other children, and those children may also be in other activities. And so giving them a really well thought out plan of how each day, week, month, season is going to go, the more information you can give to them, the more you can communicate with them, the better likelihood that they will have their child attend your practices. If you're just
Yeah.
throwing stuff, and look, I understand weather might be a factor, too hot, rain, whatever the case may be, and you may have to switch things up. But if they know that for the next 4 weeks, practices are on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 6:30 to 8, you've got a better shot at getting a majority of them attending than if you're like, we'll let you know tomorrow what time practice is on Thursday. We'll let you know, like a lot of those things. And as a parent, if you're not kept in the loop, you're going to be a grouchy parent. You're going to have a negative outlook on the coaching staff. You're less likely to change your schedule to accommodate this practice or this, meeting or this fun thing or whatever the case may be. And you're going to be more tend to be that squeaky wheel, right? Always asking,
Mhm.
I don't know about this. I don't know about that. Get a band app going, get a text thread, have an email chain, all of those things. Have a band app or a text thread because things could change unexpectedly. You could
Mhm.
get to the field and the storm is rolling in and the clouds are getting dark. And you may have to call an audible at that point and say, hey guys, we're going to hold 30 minutes. Just saw lightning. We're going to hold 30 minutes. Or I'm checking the weather app. It's saying the storm's going to come in pretty quickly. We're going to shift and let's get everybody down here at 6:30 instead of 6. We'll assess what it looks like then and we'll go from there. Those things happen, right? But if I'm in this week, it is now Tuesday, and I don't know what is happening next week or the week after that. And let's say I want to try and plan a day trip. Let's say I've made the commitment. And so we're not going to take a big vacation, but we're going to try and do some day trips. I'm going to be really frustrated as mom if I can't plan something because I don't know what's going on. And after a
Yep.
while, I'm going to be like, too bad. I don't know what's
Yeah.
happening.
Get
I'm just
to it.
going to plan
Yeah.
my stuff, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Be organized. What it comes
When the
down to
boys are
is,
playing sports,
yeah, be organized. It'll make your life better. It'll make your athlete's life better and the parent's life better. And then everybody's happy.
it's so much better when they're happy.
We want
It's so
them
much better when
happy.
everybody's happy. Believe me, we want them happy because they're happy. Yeah, Pharrell was right. It's better when you're happy. Better when you're happy.
Yep.
Yes.
It's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Though, right. Let them understand what the competition season looks like, what that level of expectation is, right? Let them understand, like if it goes a fun, a friendly, a league event, we qualified, and now we go to the regional event, we qualified, now we go to the national event. That's big time. That's definite need to let them know way ahead of time what that looks like, right? But let them know, what does that league event look like? We traditionally go and support all of the teams in our program. We don't expect the littlest, the 6-year-olds, they don't need to stay. They can perform and leave. We don't want the oldest kids who are going later on in the day to come that early. So we're going to have them there at the middle. Maybe this first group that goes super early, maybe they stay and support one another. And then the next group, if you have, let's say 5, 6 teams in the program, these 3 are going to come a little early and support everybody so that everybody feels supported. So you feel like you've got some, fans in the stands, right? The competitions normally last 10, 11, 12 hours. Don't expect you to stay for everyone's awards. You are permitted to leave after your own award ceremony. You can typically expect that we'll compete at 9 a.m. and awards may not be until 12:30 p.m. You can expect a 5 to 6 hour day that we're going to need you there. You need to arrive 90 minutes, 1 hour before we are to report for our warm up. right? We're going to do a meeting. We're going to make sure everybody's there. You need to come competition ready, which means dressed in your uniform. Bow is in the hair. Everything is appropriate. All the jewelry is taken out. Please don't have anybody get pierced ears in August, September, October, November. Please wait. They must come out. You know, all of these things become important because those things then become important to us judges over here, right? The judges are earrings and all the things that becomes important to us over here,
And
right? So if it becomes important to
plugs,
us,
those clear plugs are still illegal. So,
yep,
mm-mm,
yep,
mm-mm,
right.
don't be doing it.
So is tape. Can't tape
So is
them.
tape,
Don't be
and
taping
it's
them.
more noticeable when you put a bunch of tape on it. So, tell your parents, I love that, Lisa, at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Nope
Tell
and
them
nope
now.
and nope.
You're gonna catch this in early August. This
Yeah,
one, you tell them now. Tell them
put
now.
out a
And
post now.
right, yes. And also, if they did get them pierced, they're gonna have to take them out for 2 minutes
They
and 30
have to.
seconds. They
Yeah,
gotta do it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So these are all the things like I know you don't think about. I know that a lot of this information is in our courses and many of you are required to take it. So this is not an upsell. Many of you are required to take these courses. In the 101 and 102 course, all of these little nuggets are in there. So while you may just breeze through because I know you don't have a lot of time and it breaks my heart because I write a lot of that stuff. And so it upsets me when you don't go through it. But I understand it can take a lot of time, but you can go back and look at the chapters that talk about all of this stuff to familiarize yourself and kind of give yourself a little checklist. Or I know, delegate it to one of your coaches. Hey, can you go back and look
Boom.
and maybe bam.
Yeah.
Maybe get a little checklist. We're gonna meet with the parents. We're gonna have another meeting. I want to make sure I cover a lot of these topics, right? And you can find it in there. It's another resource that we have for you so that you are as planned out as possible, right? Preseason is super important. And then when you're in the season, communication still, right? Every week before a game, we're at this field, we play at this time, we're meeting here, we're wearing this, right? Maybe inclement weather's coming, so maybe not the full uniform. Maybe we're wearing our sweatsuit or our jacket or whatever the case may be. We're meeting if you're at a away game, right? You may not know the layout of that land. We're going to meet at the concession stand because pretty much everyone has it. We are going to meet at the front entrance to where you pay to get in. And that helps too, because if parents aren't just going to let their kids see you later, honey, have a great time, right? They want to hand off to an adult responsible person. And so you have your coaching staff. Lisa will be at this gate, Katey will be at this gate, or we'll all be at this gate. You can drop your child off. And at the end of the game, when we are done, we will meet you right back here for you to pick your child up. They are free to go, right? I know it's a lot, but let me tell you, it goes a long way. It will help you. I know we keep saying the same thing over and over again and it's getting a little redundant, but believe me, it is important. So,
Yes, it is.
yeah,
It's very
yeah.
important. Yeah, yeah. I do have one thing.
So
It kind of
do it.
jogged my brain because you mentioned like policies and writing up like the parent contract and things like that.
Yep.
You guys, if you haven't, I'm imagining that most of you have, but if you haven't, go join the Waikata Coaches Facebook page. It
Oh,
is
yeah.
a
Bing, bing.
beautiful resource of coaches from all over the United States. You won't see me chiming in. That's not what it's about. You won't really see Lisa chiming in. That's not what it's about. It's not about rules like my rules, the level rules. It's not necessarily about that. It's more so coaches getting advice from each other. Coaches, hey, do you mind checking out my choreography? Hey, I need to write this new policy, but can anybody lend me their book because I'm missing some things? It's
Right.
a beautiful community of youth cheer and dance coaches working together to make everybody's life a little bit easier. So if
Yeah.
you haven't checked that out yet, I definitely recommend it. I hop on there from time to time and I love seeing the camaraderie, the community. It's really beautiful that you don't always get in sports. You don't always get that. So
Yeah.
use it to your advantage. Yes.
Great idea. Yeah, it's great. We use so and so for music. We're looking for new ideas. We're looking to buy new uniforms. Who do you recommend? Um, Anybody going to the blah blah blah. I don't approve any type of is this legal posts, right? I don't approve any negativity. I mean, you can say we're living in a rainbow and unicorn world. I'm good with that on this page.
It is a
I
really
want that
happy
to be this
world.
community.
on this Facebook.
I do
Yes.
not want right. I do not want anyone to feel like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna ask my question because someone's gonna come and lambaste me," for whatever the case may be.
No,
We
it's
do not
supportive.
allow it. Right.
It's a
A lot
supportive
of times
place.
coaches right. If a coach is trying to get somebody riled up, "Oh, did anyone go to the so and so? Did you feel that the judges were such and such?" Nope, 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 nope.
No.
Yes, I'm protecting the judges. I do not want this to become a negative space. There's enough negative all over the place. So I am keeping this in happy, trippy, dippy, rainbow, unicorn land for as
It
long as
is.
possible.
And
And
it's really
yeah,
nice. You just don't see it out
it
that
is.
often in
Yeah.
sports within coaches,
There's
and
like
so
11,000 coaches in there.
so
It's
many, yes.
11,000 of you.
Yeah. Helping each other every
Yes.
day. So please go be a part of it. It's a good resource. Even just the common question of, I had this situation and I'm not sure how to handle it. There'll be 10 coaches that pop in and go, I had this similar, this is what worked for me. Yeah, go be a part of it.
Yeah.
It is a happy unicorn rainbow place.
It really is. Happy unicorn rainbow world for sure. All right. I I mean, we covered a lot.
Yeah, we
We
did.
covered a lot. And it was like one of those things where it's like, I always, do you think we're going to have anything to say? Do you think we're going to have enough? We covered a lot. I
Yeah, we
think,
did.
I think
Yeah.
this is a very valuable episode and I'm so excited. And next week's episode is all about them rules, about them rules, because we're all about them rules. So, Katie's going to be going over a lot of things about rules. We're going to talk about how a rule becomes a rule. And we're going to talk about, different things. Now, listen, we've done the Facebook Lives with rules, the conferences, and all that type of stuff. You have the rules question form, but there's still always stuff we can talk about, right? And so, some things to be mindful of. Maybe you want your choreographer to listen in. Maybe this is an episode they want to check out because there's probably some tips on there about some things. Katey mentioned about how, certain times it's like black and white, not legal, illegal, but the little change, a little variation makes it legal. We talk about Katey and I always trying to stay in the black and white when we talk about rules. And you're also wonderful about kind of teetering into gray area, right? You're like,
Well,
"Beep,
I
beep,
think it is
beep, beep,
black and
beep."
white, but a lot of people don't see the black and white. They're not catching on to
Right.
certain things. Yes.
Got
Yeah.
it.
So
Yeah,
we're
we're
going to help
tricky.
you
We're
catch
tricky
on to
little
those
minxes
things.
like that.
Yeah.
Sneaky
Yes.
little minxes we are with that
Yes.
kind of
You got to
stuff.
find
So we're going to kind of
specific wording. Yeah.
yes, yes. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the process. We'll talk about the rules question form and how that happens and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's another great one. I hope you can come and join us. And don't forget in the on our socials, if you've got a question you want to ask, you can drop it in the comments. We're going to try and feature some in future episodes. And we're just getting started. I mean, this is just
Yeah.
episode 2. We got so many more to go. We still probably won't have hair and makeup by next episode. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's still not in the budget. And we want to say a special shout out to Mario Gates, good friend of ours. Hope to have him on an episode. Love you, Mario.
Love you, Mario.
All right, everybody, have a great week, and we will see you all very soon.
Bye, everybody.
And
Oh, mine broke.
oh,
It's supposed to be like that.
we cut the
Yay.
cut. All right.